One of the coolest projects I've been working on lately has actually been familiarizing myself with the process of 3D printing. Personally, being a member of the Niagara chapter of Save Ontario Shipwrecks means that I work to help preserve our local shipwrecks and also make sure that they are accessible to divers at all levels throughout our local dive season. These efforts also help make these wrecks accessible to organizations such as 3dshipwrecks.org. They are working to create a catalog of every shipwreck within the Great Lakes. Now, this here is a 3D scan of the Tiller Shipwreck, which is one of the wrecks that my local chapter of Save Ontario Shipwrecks manages. This is in Lake Ontario near Port Dalhousie, Ontario. It is a 99-foot, two-mast wooden schooner. Instead of a wheel, it has an 11-foot tiller arm, which means it was built pre-1850 and is approximately 200 years old. This 3D scan was created via photogrammetry, which is where they take thousands of photos of this wreck, and then it is stitched together digitally to create this 3D render. And the cool thing about 3D printing is I can now create a hands-on model of this shipwreck for educational purposes, but that definitely doesn't come without its own set of challenges. For example, one of the issues I'm running into is with this 3D scan of the tiller, you can see that it is actually completely hollow, and that's because photogrammetry is just scanning the outside of the wreck. And because of the invasive zebra mussels that are all over this wreck, it creates a very detailed model. This model, for example, has over 5 million faces, which when 3D printing can create issues, because within a slicer, that can start to create errors and different types of artifacts that can hinder the print quality of the wreck. For example, on one of these early prints, you can see that the wreck actually had this line all the way throughout it, and in general, just the print quality really isn't that good. For me personally, I'm very much in the early stages of learning how to work with 3D objects, but luckily I was able to reach out to one of my cousins who works in 3D film animation, and he was able to help clean up this file a bit for me to help it print easier. First off, we separated the masts from the hull, so that way the masts are printing separately. The hull we've oriented in a vertical position, so that way it can print in a larger size than what my build plate would allow. Now, you can see here that the wreck itself is floating in the air, which means that this wouldn't print correctly. But when you print it, it will actually have what's called supports. So you can see here, this tree-like structure has printed beside the wreck to help have these little branches that help support any type of overhang on the model itself. You can very much see that this is still a work in progress, but we are definitely getting closer to having a presentable 3D model of the Tiller Shipwreck. So make sure you stay tuned because there's lots of cool stuff coming up. And if yourself knows how to 3D print or work with 3D objects, I would definitely appreciate any tips you may be able to leave me down below.